Hello all, in this video I'll be teaching you how to change sounds in MSTS from what you heard just now into something like this. Many of you are requesting me to teach how to change the track sounds, and we're going to do that right now. But before starting on editing the files, I wanted to explain the brief concept of how MSTS works. These concepts will help you in identifying the locations in which you're supposed to search whenever you encounter an error in MSTS. Basically, whenever you start a game, MSTS game, the game will look into the routes, textures and the trains. Now we'll look into only the trains part, since we're gonna work on the track sounds for this video. So as soon as the game starts, the train will look for consist. Consist is a combination of locomotive and coaches, which will be played by the player or the AI train. The consist will have information about the locomotive and wagon. So where are the locomotives and wagons present in the MSTS main folder? It comes under train set. So the game will immediately go into train set folder. In that it will go into locomotive and wagons and look for engines and wagons. In MSTS, engines and wagons are represented by .eng and .wag files. Both .eng and .wag files are kind of similar in the sense ENG stands for engine and WAG stands for wagons. There are some different parameters for both of them, hence they are differentiated, even though the concept of working is same. Now in this case we are working on passenger code, so we'll be coming to .wag file. Once we go into the WAG file, basically the game will look for shape file. The shape file is the one which defines the way in which the coach looks. Sound files, files which give you the track sounds basically. And it also looks for passenger view. Today, since we are dealing with only sound, I'll be neglecting the other two. So once the game enters the WAG file, it will look for sound file. The sound file is represented by .sms. So we need to know where the SMS files are present in order to make modifications. So we're going to start now. So in this tutorial, we're going to basically modify the SMS file present in WAG files to obtain the desired track sounds. Go to Google and type trainsim. Click on search and search for text Indian Railways. Go to the last one. Today we're going to use one of the first coaches that was made for Indian Railways, the Palace on Wheels. Download that. Make sure you're logged in, if not register to the website, without which you can't download. Once downloaded, right click on the downloaded file and unzip it. Now open it. Once you're inside train set folder, IR Palace is the folder which we need. Immediately go on to readme file. Always do this, always use the readme file to know what steps you're supposed to do. So create a folder named IR Palace inside your main trainsim folder. Luckily for us, it has been already created by the creator, so I'll not be creating it. You're supposed to copy this main IR Palace folder into your train simulator train set folder. So go to Microsoft Games, Train Simulator, Trains, Train Set, and paste it here. So you've done the first part of the job, that is getting a coach installed into your game. Open the IR Palace. Note that we don't have any sound folders currently, which means the .wag file must be using an SMS file which is already present in the game. Let us open the WAG file, that is the wagon file, IR Palace, to know what is the SMS file being used. Control F, type sound and find next. As you can see, the sound file used here is aselapass.sms, and instead of just giving the SMS file, the entire path where the SMS file is located is given here. If you have installed MSTS, you'll have all these default files with you, so you need not do anything. So please note down that the sound command can be either a path within double quotes or the SMS file itself. SMS file is used whenever you have a sound folder in the wagon folder. In this case we were not having it, so a path has been used here. Now let us play the game to see how the sound is heard when we are using the default aselapass.sms file. I'm pretty sure you all heard it, and it sounds pretty bad, isn't it? The sounds are not great, and we are supposed to modify it now, and we'll be using an ICF code sound since the Palace on Wheels is based on ICF platform. Go to Train Sim again, new search, and under all files section scroll down and select sounds, then search for text, type Indian Railways. Since this is a tutorial video, I'll be using the sounds which is available immediately, so we'll just scroll down to find an ICF sound. And here it is, ICF sound real.zip, made by Aditya Raj. We'll be using this, and we'll be using the sounds made by him to modify for our use. So we'll download this first. Once the download is completed, right click and extract it. Open the ICF sound folder, and in that open the readme file. The readme file says you can just copy the sound folder directly into train set folder. In this case, we'll be copying it into the IR Palace folder. And we have two SMS files. One is for AC coach and one is for non-AC coach. So the step says in the WAG file we are supposed to modify it based on whether the coach is AC or non-AC. In our case, it's AC coach, so we'll be modifying it using the AC expwag_ac.sms file. Now copy the sound folder and paste it into IR Palace folder. Then open the IR Palace .wag file. We already searched for sound, right? Now in the sound file, replace the entire thing with the name of the SMS file for AC coaches, expwag_ac.sms. We need to do it for both the sound commands in the irpalace.wag file. After that, save the file and we are done. Now we'll test and see if we have done it correctly, and if you have done, we'll be hearing the beautiful ICF track sounds. So it's perfectly done, and these are the steps we are supposed to follow to modify track sounds. Exact similar procedure has to be followed when you want to modify loco sounds or the cab view. When it comes to loco, you're supposed to enter the .eng file and search for sounds, just like how we did for this passenger sounds. This is the procedure followed, and this is a basic concept which I wanted to explain to you all. Like the video if you found this useful, and also drop a comment if you want me to make tutorial on any other thing when it comes to MSTS.